All right. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started then. I'm going to be sharing my screen. So if you guys are able to watch my screen, you should be, that'll kind of clue you guys in to, that way you can see are you guys able to see my screen okay? It should say Filthy Casuals Phase 3 planning session. Anybody? Arakius, are you able to see?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Coming across clear.
All right, everybody's saying yes. All right, that's good. All right. Well, thanks everyone for being here. I do want to be respectful of your time. I know some of you need to head out, and so we want to make certain that we respect all of your time here tonight. Thank you for being here and for being a part of this guild. What we've got several things that we want to go through tonight. Want to try to leave a little bit of time for Q&A at the very end. But just a couple of things. First order of business, if everybody in the room would do a /tar erection, and then if you will report him for name. He has requested, he wants a name change, so report him for name, please. Which I'm going which I'm going to do right now. Inappropriate name. There you go. All right, done. Reporting your own guilty. All right, good deal. Let's continue on. All right. So first thing first is I do want to thank everyone that has contributed to leadership in this uh, in this um, uh, in this phase. All of the folks that you see on screen, and please forgive me if I have forgotten anyone. But anyone that you've seen here has either served as an officer or has been just a key player in leading raids, that sort of thing. So thank each one of you for all that you do for this guild. It is an amazing community, and I'm thankful for all of you guys for everything that you do. Whether you're a raider, whether you love power leveling and helping guildies out, just want to say thank you to all of you for being a part of this amazing community. As always, I want to just remind us of who we are and what we try to be, and I just refer you to our Read Here First. Our guild motto is to treat others as you would want to be treated. Just a reminder that we're family. Treat one another with the respect. We want to have the kind of guild that nobody ever wants to leave. So just a reminder that that's who we are. Is we want to be the friendliest guild in all of WoW. All right. So the first thing that I would like to do is ask Araquinox for an update on the guild ambassadors, and so take it away, sir.
All right. So this is an initiative that we started kind of at the middle of the phase or so. We had a desire to try to branch out in the social aspects of the guild. So the guild ambassador team are Astroren, Za, in his many characters, Trogdor, Hollywood, and myself. And the purpose of this initiative is to help stimulate the social side of our community outside of organized in-game content like raids and PvP and stuff. So our goal and our aim is to do this through guild-wide events, both in-game and out. More heavily so in the in-game side through different things. I mean, eventually maybe doing like dungeon speedruns, world races, scavenger hunts, what other kind of fun, kooky events, and maybe even have some minor competitions here and there as well. So, and outside stuff eventually as well, maybe watch parties. We'll see how that goes. But That's basically what our main goal is and focus. We are actually talking about helping promote in guild for those that do stream as well. So just keep your eyes and ears peeled for more on that later. And we are currently working on trying to get something planned for the next week. A guild-wide event. Everybody will be able and invited. And please, if you're interested, please come. This is a big social gathering for us to just, spend an hour or two and just have fun. So more details will be forthcoming on that within the next day or two, okay? And yeah, if anybody has any questions or if they're interested in giving ideas, sharing ideas, then please reach out to myself or anybody else that's on the program, and we'd love to chat with you about it.
I said has a great idea. He says he's in another guild, he or she, I'm not certain which, that does game nights and movie nights where they stream movies. So that's something worth thank you, is maybe something worth thinking about. That's a great idea. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just a reminder, this is bragging rights right now. It looks like Wake is in first place in the bracket challenge, though things could be very different. It looks like Constari is in second place, and about 5 folks that are in the running. You'll notice that Mac is 11th out of 12, so I've done really well so far. But so far in the bracket challenge, we've got about 5 in the running, and then the winner's going to have a pot of 62 gold, so that's pretty exciting. Guild Bank update. Right now we are sitting on 750 gold, and as we said, we have 62 gold reserved. Just a reminder that we do have potions and elixirs. These are available at no charge to raid leaders, so if you're a raid leader and you want to have some potions and elixirs at your disposal each week, then you need to mail your order to FC Bank 3. And then also beyond those that we provide, we do subsidize, but raiders may buy potions and elixirs at 50% off auction house prices. So a couple of things to think about. Talk to Nicolette about that. We also provide to our raiders free enchants and enchanting materials. Just make certain that you are mailing FC Bank for enchants. Free lock picking. You can mail Nicolette your boxes for lock picking. Just if you don't mind, just send her some return postage. No tips are needed. We also do have BOEs, that are for sale, 50% off the AH, which you can, if you have the GBank Classic add-on, then you'll be able to see under the FC Bank 3 tab what's available in terms of items. So maybe if you're wanting something for an alt, we do offer that at those things at half price. So that is essentially what we have for the Guild Bank. We are very thankful to Nicolette for all the hard work that she does on the Guild Bank. So thank you, Nicolette. I don't believe that she is here tonight. I know she had a flight. So okay, so next thing to talk about is that we do have a guild presence in other games, and I would just strongly let you know that these presences are not intended to take the place of our current focus, which is Season of Discovery. But these, we recognize that people play other games, and so just one thing that I wanted to share with you is that if you do play retail, we do have a community that you can join, either Alliance or Horde, and then I've got the URL here, and I'll post this stuff later on in Discord for us. But we also have not only a community that you can join, but also a placeholder Filthy Casuals Guild that's on Blackwing Lair. We are an Alliance Guild, so if you are planning to play The War Within, we can now have cross-run guilds. So if you're wanting to play and if you're wanting to play with Filthy Casuals, there's no need for you to server change once that drops. folks can be a part of that guild if you like. So just thought I would announce that. We have about 4 or 5 folks right now that have made tunes or transferred them to Blackwing Lair. But I just thought I would let you know that. All right, well, this is why everybody's here. We want to talk a little bit about our rating plans for Phase 3. Before we continue on, has everybody? Hopefully, everyone has had the chance to see the announcement and the video that happened today with what Phase 3 is going to look like. But it looks like we are going into the Sunken Temple, and we'll be looking to do some raiding in that particular dungeon. So what is Filthy Casuals going to look like in Phase 3? Well, the first thing that they mentioned was that this raid will be 20-player content. So unfortunately, what this is going to mean is that we'll need to dissolve our existing 10-man raid teams. And I'll talk about that in a second. I know change is always hard, but this is just something that we'll talk about here in a second. But as I look back on the last phase, we saw a lot of success. There were a lot of really good things. The only thing that I would regret about Phase 2 is that we had to pug a lot. Just a whole lot. Currently we have between 85 and 90 active raiders. Probably what we're looking at, based on the results of the new survey, we're probably looking at 4 raid teams. We're going to do our best to get everybody fitted in on a team. If we're unable to place you on a team, we're going to have a special group of folks called our preferred raiders, and these would be folks that would be our first calls because with 20-man or 20-person raid teams, it's the problem of keeping those teams full is going to be even more difficult than it was with 10-person teams. So we are going to need some folks who are willing to be preferred raiders, and maybe we do have some folks that are able to raid, but they can't commit to a full-time raid team. So we want to make certain that we have a list of those first call folks. We do know that now that the lockouts are going to be weekly, so the idea is that we want to have one set night of raiding per week, and then perhaps a backup night. So at first, it may be difficult because the progression may be difficult for folks to clear the raid. We would look probably mostly at the beginning, two nights per week until the raid's on farm, where we can complete it in one night. So that's kind of what we're looking at in terms of raid team construction. Our initial goal was to try to merge all of our teams, and I get it. We've been all raiding together since the beginning of the XPEP, since December, and these teams are our best friends in game. And we think about I'm on Pillage of Prey, or I'm on Belly Grubs Bites, or whatever team that you might be on, and those teams and those friendships become iconic, and it's really, really difficult. Change is always hard because your best friends in the guild are now on those raid teams. So this is going to be a challenge. I understand that, I get it, but unfortunately Blizzard is forcing our hand, and as a guild, I'd like to think, and I'd like to believe, as I mentioned in our initial post about this, I'd like to think that we're a bigger idea rather than just a 10-man raid team. So it's going to be difficult. Our first goal was to try to merge the teams, but a couple of things that we looked at is that we had no 2 raid teams that were able to raid on the same nights and times. The other thing that made it really difficult is that we weren't sure about lockout lengths, so that really made it confusing in terms of what nights we would be able to raid. So we talked about it at length with the officers as well as all of the raid leaders, and felt like probably the best thing to do would be kind of a clear, wipe the slate clean. Let's get some fresh data, and let's do a brand new survey to restructure our teams from scratch. And so we do have a survey that's coming, and I will be sharing that after the meeting. Okay. So to do this, like I said, we are going to have this survey. And the one thing that I do want to be super, super clear about, and because we can't make exceptions to this. So, this is Monday night. You're going to have until Friday night at midnight to fill out a new rating survey for us. If you want to be considered for a raid team, you must take the survey. I don't care if you're an officer. I don't care if you're a raid leader. I don't care if you're a raider. I don't care, if you are, if you even want to sit on the bench, or if you're not on a raid team and you want to raid, you have to take the survey. Everyone must take the survey in order to be considered for a team. Why is this? Because what's going to happen is on March, and I know somebody's whispering me in game, but I'm not able to swap to that screen right now, so my apologies. But that's just what we have. But there is you're going to need to fill out the survey by midnight server time on Friday night, March the 29th. And the reason why is because Saturday morning, the raid leaders, there's a group of raid leaders that will be getting together, looking at the data, and putting the new raid teams together. So if you want to be on a raid team, you have to fill it out. We will be posting, our hope is to post the raid teams on April the 1st. And part of the short turnaround in getting the survey done is because we didn't, nobody expected an April 4th start for phase 3. So we knew we needed to have this meeting, and I'm glad that we had it today because we weren't certain exactly when the timing was going to come on the phase 3 announcement. But we should have our raid teams together by April the 1st, and then of course on Thursday of next week, that is when we'll see the new content drop. Okay. The reason why I'm taking a hard stance on everyone taking the survey is because I'm only going to put the teams together once. It is quite a task for us to put teams together, and I don't plan on juggling teams around just because somebody didn't get around to filling out their survey or because they filled it out incorrectly. Okay. I would also stipulate that you need to take the survey only once. Okay. So you need to make certain that you answer the questions very carefully so that our data is correct, so that our data is clean. Okay. I'll share out this. I'll share this link out later with you guys, but we will have it. I do want to go through the survey just to make certain that the survey is clear. Let me see if I can find the right browser for this, and I will share that. I'm going to stop sharing, and then I'm going to share one more time this different survey. All right, so everybody should be able to see the survey. Are you guys able to see the survey okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, good deal. All right, I just want to go through all of the questions just to make certain that they're clear before you take the survey, because you can only take it once. All right. The survey starts Xbyte as soon as this meeting is over. Okay. So one of the things that we've said in the past is that you have to wait 2 weeks until the start of the patch to start raiding. We're not saying that now. There's nothing. What I would say is that there's nothing preventing the raid teams from raiding almost immediately. If for example, if one of the teams has everybody ready to raid within the first week, and that means mostly pre-bis, you can go ahead and raid. That's not a problem at all. All right. So you'll be, but if you are not level 50 and raid ready 2 weeks after the start of the patch, you'll be put on the preferred raider list. So that means you would be a substitute. Okay. So it's going to be important for you to go ahead and get to 50 within 2 weeks if you want to keep your raid spot. But again, there's nothing that's going to be stopping our folks. We do have a question. What team are you currently on? And whatever, and this is going to help us to answer, to try to put, we're going to really try to put people that are on current teams together again if we can. So there's all of the teams here, and then if you're not currently on a raid team, then you can answer, select that one. Here's a question. Do you have a significant other, so such as husband or wife, or best friend forever in game that you absolutely must raid with, okay? And if so, I know we have some folks. I know Bulbit and Sweet Demon are husband and wife, and they like to raid together. I know that Nicolette and please stop messaging me, Xbyte, thank you. So we have some folks that absolutely have to raid together because they are, they're married, or because they've been raiding together for 20 years, whatever. So I would ask that if there's somebody that you absolutely must raid with, list the name of only one character that you want to be placed on a team with. We will make every effort to try to accommodate this. Okay. All right. Next question is we want to ask you to select times that you're available to raid in server time. All right. This is server time, not your local time. So that's Mountain US. The times that you check are the window of the start times of the raid. So if the raid were to start at 6 o'clock, then you would click this start 5 to 6:30. Okay, if you're available during that time. So you need to go through all of these and select all of the times that you are available. So we have three different slots: early evening that would start 5 to 6:30, evening that start between 7 and 8:30, and late evening, which would start 9 to 10:30, or you would, if you're unable, for example, to raid on Sunday, you would just click unable to raid on this day. Okay, and you have to have at least one response per row before moving on. So the other thing that I would say is that if you are too restrictive in your time selections, it's going to be really, really difficult for us to put you on a team. For example, if you come back and you say, I can only do something like this, there's a high probability that we won't be able to put you on a team. So the more flexible you are with your schedule, the more likely it will be that we'll be able to put you on a team. Next, we ask you the name of your main raid character. We ask for your main's class. We ask for the role of your main. So we have tanks, healers, melee, and ranged DPS. And then we have two other, now that we know that we have dual spec coming, we want to run one swing tank and one swing heal per raid team. So for example, we don't know what, we honestly don't know what we're going to be facing. So it would be nice for us to be able to have one person that could either swap to melee DPS or tank, or someone that would be able to swap from range DPS to heal. It would be really helpful to have some of those folks. That way, that way we could have maximum flexibility. Say, for example, if we had a 3 tank fight, or if we had a difficult fight that required 5 healers. Okay. Also, the other thing that we ask you for, there's a possibility we might not be able to put your man on a team due to composition issues. So, say for example, you sign up as a healer, but we're full up on healers, for example. If that's the case, you might want to provide the name of a ranged DPS instead, or a melee DPS instead. That way you would have a maximum possibility of making a raid team. So you would want to put the name of one of your alts that you would be willing to play, the class of the alt, the role of your alt. And then we have a question that says, if we can't place you on a raid team, or you can't commit to weekly raid time, are you willing to be a first call raider for substitutions? So yes or no. that would be what we would ask you to do. And then, your feedback is always really important to us. We don't want to be an echo chamber, but we really appreciate your candid feedback. So, if there's anything that you would change about our rating culture and processes, feel free to share that. Or if there's something that you really like about about our rating culture processes, make certain you do that, and just let us know. That helps us out. Then obviously once you submit, then we'll get your data. So that's essentially what the survey is going to look like. Let's go back to the other the PowerPoint presentation. And we'll finish this up here. Are you able to see the screen again? The PowerPoint presentation?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So again, the last reminder is if you're too restrictive, it's going to be really hard for us to place you on a team. So make certain that you do. All right. So what are the RAID teams going to look like? Generally speaking, we're going to have 3 leads coming from our current RAID leadership team. They'll have 3 different functions, and it may not be 4 people. Those, it may not be 3 people. We may have more than 3. It really just kind of depends on what's needed. But we're going to have a strategic lead, and so these are folks that will be in charge of developing encounter strategy, making call-outs during the encounters. So strategic leads, folks that are just good at seeing the whole playing field and able to make those call-outs. We might have 2 people to do that. Just really kind of depends on what the fights look like. We'll also have an administrative lead, and that person will be responsible for recruiting, filling, scheduling, and managing the RAID team roster. And then we'll have an operational lead, and so this lead will be kind of the day-to-day stuff. So they're going to serve as a loot master, manage soft res, and distribute RAID consumables provided from the guild bank, as well as run logs. So that's kind of what the leadership structure is going to look like when we get to the next phase. Okay. One of the things that we want to emphasize moving into phase 3 is personal responsibility. One of the things that has been a real struggle for us in this phase is we've had folks either not signing up for raids or no showing. It's been a serious problem. It's been a really difficult issue for us. So we need to rectify that, because what happens is whenever you don't show up, or whenever you no show at the last minute, or let us know at the last minute that you can't be there, then we have to scramble to find a replacement. So that makes things really difficult. And so one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to pledge to you that all the RAID teams will be putting up raid calendars at least a month in advance, so you know what days you're going to be raiding in the next month. And then also signups will be available at least 1 week in advance. So as soon as the signups go up, if you want to raid, you need to sign up. And so we need we need to be able to count on folks to do the signups, be personal responsible. You know that they're coming, you know that they're out there. You should be getting notifications from your RAID channel that there's a new sign up or a new post. Take personal responsibility, and let's be responsible to our RAID team members. A couple of things that are brand new that the officers and the RAID team leaders talked about, and I think this is only fair. But if a main raider does not sign up 24 hours before the raid, so in other words, we're 24 hours away from the raid, you still haven't signed up, you've already had at least 6 days to sign up, we are going to assume that you're going to be absent, and we will replace you for that raid automatically 24 hours before. So it's going to behoove you to sign up well in advance. The other thing to keep in mind is if you are habitually signing up late and missing raids, you do stand the chance of losing your raid spot. We have too many people that we need to depend on, to have spotty raid attendance. The other thing is, if you are a no-show, and how we define a no-show is that either you sign up but didn't show up, or you didn't sign up and you didn't show up. One time, we're going to replace you permanently. I understand life happens, but for example, if it's the last, at the very last moment, something happens. I understand life happens, but generally speaking, you better have a really, 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 really good reason for no showing, because we're going to have to take, with 20-man rating, we're going to have to take a more rigid stance at that. So our most likely raid comp that we're looking at is we'd have 2 tanks, 1 swing tank that can also DPS. We'll have 6 melee DPS, 6 range DPS, 1 swing healer / DPS, and then 4 healers on each of those raid teams. We are going to continue to use the soft res loot system. Really, it has worked for us so far, and there are 40-man teams that use soft res, and it's been very helpful for us. It's very transparent. I know there are a million different loot systems out there. We once again reviewed all of them at the beginning of looking at Phase 3, and we really felt like coming back to soft res and continuing to use it would be in our best interest. We'll again provide 1 hard reserve for our dedicated tanks and heals. And then one of the things that we noticed that we heard time and time again is that there were some people that were just incredibly lucky at getting loot, that they were really, really good at rolling and getting loot. And so we'd have some folks that would get 3 or 4 pieces in one night, and others that might get shut out. And that's really frustrating, because when you just throw it up to the luck of the draw, it's just really difficult. So the one thing that we are going to tweak in our loot system for this next season is that we're going to implement a +1 rule. And so in other words, you'll be limited to winning 1 main spec item per night that does not include your soft res. So you can get a soft res plus a main spec item. However, if no one else wants the item, or if everyone else that wants the item has already received a main spec item, then they could roll on a second item. So the main reason for this is that we want to make certain that everyone has a chance that loot is equitable. One thing that was really heartening to me is I did see that they're looking at the number of drops to make certain that folks are still able to get geared up in a reasonable fashion. So here's what loot looks like when an item drops. Okay, so number 1, if the item is hard reserved, it's going to go to either the healer or tank who reserved it. Number 2, if the item is soft reserved by 1 person, it'll automatically go to that person who reserved it. It will not count against your +1 loot roll. Thirdly, if the item is soft reserved by multiple people, they'll roll for the item, and the person with the highest roll will win it, but it will not count against the winner's +1 loot roll. After that, if the item is not soft reserved by anyone, if it's not soft reserved, anyone who has not won a main spec item during that raid, not counting your soft reserve, can roll for the item with the highest roll winning. Okay, so if it's not soft reserve, haven't won a main spec item yet, you can roll when the highest roll wins. If someone has already won a main spec item during that raid, not counting your soft reserve, and nobody else wants the item, or everyone wanting the item has already gotten a main spec item that night, the person can roll on a second item. And then finally, the last priority would be off-spec rolls. And I guess number 7, if nobody wants it off-spec, then number 7 is we'll DE it and send it to the guild bank. So that's essentially how it would work. So I've been doing a lot of talking. I'm going to stop talking here. I'm going to stop sharing. And I want to invite all of you, or anyone that has a question, anyone that has a concern, to raise your hand, and we'll take you in the order that you raised your hand. And so it looks like we have Short Round is our very first. And Shorty, I'm going to have you go ahead
Yeah.
and talk.
So my question, I understand the survey that you had us fill out, or you showed us that we're gonna fill out. Um, so I can also understand 1 to 2 nights a week while we're learning the raid, and then once we got it on farm because it's 7-day lockout, got it. But I saw nothing in there other than the nights that you can't raid. Like, how do you sign up for a time? That's really kind of where that was the crux of my question. Like, I prefer this day and that day.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one day that I can't do it, but all these other days I could. But here's what I like. There's like kind of no in between there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, we have to put up, we just have to put up, for us to be able to fit people on teams, we have to kind of divide it up in those, if I understand you correctly, we just have to divide it up into slots when people are available. And we are going to be doing our best to fit everyone that wants to raid onto a team. So I wish I had a better answer for
Okay.
you, but
That's fine.
that's essentially the best way to know to answer.
Part two of the question was phase one, the policy was main raiders only, no alts. And then we changed that in phase two. What are we doing with alts for phase three?
Um, let us see where we are with the raid teams first. For example, if we get 4 full raid teams, then we would consider your alts as, if you want to raid on an alt, you could be a primary substitute. But let's just kind of see where we are, and then we'll probably have to make a judgment call. That's a really good question, by the way, and one that I hadn't really thought a whole lot about. But
No, that's why I brought it up. I mean, because we had a policy that made in phase one, everyone got to raid if you wanted to.
yep.
Two, we had some shortages, so we changed the policy, and now we're in a new set of circumstances. How are we going to do this? And I get it if we don't have an answer tonight. I just thought I'd bring
Yep.
it up.
It's a great question. We'll have to see what the turnout is on the survey.
Roger, thank you.
Appreciate it. Right. Next, we've got Hera. And let's see. Hera, let me see. You should be able to speak. I just invited you to speak, so you should be able to. Hera, are you there? Okay. Hera, why don't we skip you for a moment? You might be having technical difficulties. I'm going to invite.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, there you are. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm not used to this. Talking about the raid survey and everything, it's kind of caught most of us on our teams off guard because we're going under the assumption that we're going to be merging Stitches and Dire Maul. We've been working under that assumption for the past week or so because our times fit and the comps fit pretty good. So I'm wondering.
Right. Well, we did. I don't know where that came from, but I will tell you the only thing that what we have publicly announced is that we are going to be looking at mixing up the teams. That is what we have publicly announced so far. We will try to keep people on teams as much as possible. I can't make 100% promises, but we will do our best. That's that's all I can say.
If two raid teams are compatible and willing to merge, we have the exact same days and times. That should be up to us, not up to management.
Well, I'm not certain that I totally agree with you because it's not just your 20 people, it's 80 people that we're trying to put into a raid. Again, we're going to do our best to try to fit you all together. This is the first that I've heard about this assumption. Was there, and we can have a sidebar conversation, but was there someone that promised you that?
We've talked about it in RAID, and the leadership has talked about it.
Okay. Well, there was never a conversation among the RAID leadership that would be a thing. So, again, like I said, we're going to do our best to try to keep teams together as much as possible, but I can't guarantee it because we have to be able to put teams, we have viability of the entire guild is what we have to consider. Okay. We will do our best. All right, X-Byte. I've invited you to. There you go.
Oh,
X-Byte.
yeah.
Yep.
On the whole the presentation thing, can you start over? I wasn't paying attention.
I'm going to kick you out of the guild. Did you have a real question?
No, it's the same question I had last time. No, you're fine.
All right, bye. Mutzler.
Yeah, I saw a couple people ask the same question. When it comes up to selecting our role, are we only allowed to select one role, or like would I be able to select tank and swing tank, or do I need to put that in the notes?
That's a good question. I can see if there's a way for us to do multiple roles. I would just say choose your preferred role out there. And if we need to ask somebody
Okay.
if they're willing to swing, then we'll do it from there.
Sidebar it. Okay, sounds good.
All right. Thanks, Mutzler.
Yep.
All right, Corpse Taker, you are next.
Okay, I'm new. I only have level 21. So do I still fill out the raid thing, even though I'm not leveled up to raid yet?
So
Or do you want me to hold off on filling it out until I do get leveled up?
So you are welcome to fill it out now. You would just, to be considered for a raid team, you would just need to be level 50 within a week or two of within 2 weeks of the patch dropping.
Looks like I have a lot of leveling to do.
It doesn't take that long. It really isn't that bad. So you can definitely get there. You can.
Well, I don't get very long to play as is. So.
Yeah. That's kind of what we were. If you weren't able to make it within 2 weeks, certainly we could look at having you as a preferred sub, that sort of thing. So that's a good question, though.
All right, thank you, sir.
No problem. Prod is up next.
Hey there.
Prod.
Yeah, just want to quickly mention Google Doc-wise, you should be able to make it multiple choice. Just talking about the roles people want to fill,
Yep.
And especially for paladins and druids, we can cover that gambit.
Yep.
Just in regards to leveling, because I assume, like many others, group dungeons are probably going to be the way I'll level. Is there any talks about, maybe gelling raid groups together so we can start getting to know one another? Any thoughts on something like that? And then just to wrap it up as well, any thoughts on PvP, especially since they're talking about more, Booty Bay, the PvP event in Stranglethorn. Any talks about PvP groups as well?
Those are two really, really good questions, and I would love to have someone that is a PvP coordinator. If there's someone that is your passion, talk to me. I would love to talk about that because I'd like to see us do some more things PvP wise. If we did pre-mades going into Wrathy Basin, that sort of thing, or whether it's STV, that would be fun. So if you're interested in coordinating some of that stuff, we'd love to see that happen. Your other question was about leveling groups. So as soon as the raid teams are out, I don't know that we will necessarily yeah, I would leave it up to the raid leaders. If you guys want to self-organize and do that sort of thing, you're more than welcome to do that. I don't know that that I will necessarily organize that, but I think that it's a great idea for people to try to level together. I know for me, I like to do a combination of questing and dungeons, so I know for me, I would probably be likely to do a combination of the two. But if anybody does want to try doing that, then please avail yourself of it. Good questions.
Thanks.
I'm going to move on to Bubble 07.
Hello there.
Hey, Bubble 07.
Number one, will there be much focus on group composition for effectiveness, like Frail Druids for melee, Boomkins for casters, and such?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, to the best of our abilities. It's not going to be perfect, but with 20 man, it will help broaden our horizons in that regard.
Will we also be able to balance the different armor types of amongst classes? So like even chainmail, even leather, even cloth. That way, there's not way too many clothies rolling on the same loot.
We are going to do our best to balance the raids. We will be looking at class composition. We'll be looking at all of those things. And we did that last time. We just, at some point, we just ran out of raiders to make viable groups. So we will do our best to look at making perfect compositions. Again, it's not, it's not something that you can do 100% for all the groups, but we will do our very, very best.
There was a slide on the thing you had that had the 3 raid leaderships. I didn't get to read it in detail. I would like to see that.
Yep. You mean the 3 different types of
Raid leadership meant you said there was like 3 of them.
Yeah, so we've got, I'll share this once again if I can find the slide. And I will put these slides into a PDF and I'll upload it so everybody is able to see it. I'm sharing my screen now if you want to look at it. So we'll have 3 types of leaders. We'll have strategic leads. These will be our folks that develop encounter strategy and make call-outs during encounters. We'll have administrative leads. So these are our folks that will help to recruit, fill, schedule, manage the roster. And then operational leads. So these would be, the day-to-day things like being loot master, managing software ads, consumables, running logs, that sort of thing.
And my final thing before I get done with my turn, I don't think my hunter has enough name reports because he still exists with his name.
Keep reporting erection, everybody. Oh, that's funny. All right. Anything else, Buffalo?
I'm done.
All right. Thank you. All right. Next we have Dog Mustache.
Hello?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. So I'm with an outlier of 10 people that play late at night because we have children or we work late. I saw you have a section there for late evening. Is there a guarantee that a late evening crew is being considered? Because that's 10 of us right there that kind of get alienated.
Absolutely. If we can get 20, it's going to be a thing. I really want to try to make certain that there are raid teams available for all of the slots that we can. We will do our very best for it.
Okay. That's all I got. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Doug. All right. Looks like next person is Cairo. Pyro, you are welcome to speak. Pyro, you have been invited. I'm not certain if you need to click anything yourself. Pyro is no longer with us. What did they have to click? What do you have to click?
Okay, accept. Okay, I got it.
There you go.
Because I was looking at the game. My other character is a Shadow Priest, and I have healed as much as the healers just through my DPS. Are they considered a healer? And I know the mages healers are kind of the same way. Or is that DPS? I mean, and do they get hard reses?
What your primary role coming in as is what we would consider. Now, if you
Yes, but would they be a healer or would they be a DPS because they do both?
if
They
you
would
are-
absolutely be DPS because you're a DPS class because you can heal with and have that utility. It does not make you a healer.
whatever role you come in as is what we would consider. So if you come in as a DPS, then we would that also sometimes is asked to heal. We would consider you a DPS. Same thing with the tank. If you occasionally tank, then you would be but primarily DPS, we would consider you as a DPS. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Does that go for the mages as well on the arcane?
If the mages come in if the mage comes in and is a mage healer primarily, then they are considered a healer and would get a hard res, obviously.
Okay, that just the distinction confused me because they both heal the same way by doing damage.
Right, but you understand, if we have you in a dedicated healing role, then you would get the hard res. If you're one of the 4 primary healers in the raid team, then you would get a hard res. Does that make sense?
The answer, yes.
All right, thank you. All right, looks like we've got Tug and then not X-Byte. Tug,
Yeah, I think you
are
may
on
have
the
just-
stage.
Sure, yeah, I think you may have just answered this, but I'm just gonna ask again. If you sign up as a swing tank / DPS, do you get a hard res, or is it just the main ones only?
It's typically the main ones.
Okay.
Now, the thing that we know about tanks is typically they tend to get geared up really quickly because a lot of the gear is tank specific. So I can't imagine that it would be very difficult for an off tank to get some tanking pieces as well.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Very good question, Doug. I even dread asking X-Byte because I know he's going to troll us here. X-Byte?
No trolling. I just want to say, as a general, no, non-joking, it actually is a lot of fun playing. Like, you make this guild, you and your team makes this guild enjoyable, and it's actually a lot of fun. So I just want to say thank you, and thank you to everyone else.
Oh, thank you, X-Byte. You're gonna make me cry. Thank you very much. All right. Well, everybody, that is our meeting. If you have any questions or concerns, make certain that you reach out to me. I'm happy to do that and talk to you. I'm going to be posting the survey. Get the survey out there. Make certain that you answer it correctly. Please don't ask me, I made a mistake. Can you reset my? Just answer it. You've seen the survey. You know what it looks like. So I will send that out there, and you'll be able to answer the survey really quickly. So, thanks everybody. Great time tonight. We'll be talking to you soon. Have a good night.
Thanks, everybody.